also spoken about the dangerous madness of this moment with an American president in his circle who believed that nuclear weapons could actually be used today, and about what the massive, unthinkable consequences would be, and about the massive waste of our resources here in Britain. In Britain, we have 13 million people, that is 1 in 5, who live in absolute or relative poverty. And we are spending money on Trident, a weapons system which we have to tell ourselves will never be used. I want to just remind us of what the culture of acceptability of nuclear weapons, which means the accepted policies of the UK, the US, France, Russia and China, what that culture means for the other nuclear countries. First of all, North Korea. North Korea became a nuclear country in response to 4 American actions. First was the arbitrary division of the country in 1945. Second was the introduction of nuclear weapons into South Korea by the Americans. They were only removed by George H. Bush. And the third thing is 25,000 American troops are in the South. And fourthly, there's a constant presence of US nuclear submarines patrolling the coast and overflying by US warplanes. The second country is Israel. Israel's unacknowledged nuclear weapons are part of that country's incredibly dangerous military dominance of that war-ravaged region. They can only have that dominance. It's only enabled by the extraordinary American military subsidy of the country. $3.7 billion this year, 2017. And lastly, Pakistan and India. If Pakistan and India had a nuclear war using just half of their country's warheads, 21 million people would die in a week, and there would be a nuclear winter which would cripple agriculture worldwide. We have to tell ourselves again, it will never happen. Meanwhile, Pakistan has spent $2.2 billion on these nuclear weapons. This is a country which has 25 million children who are not in school. A country which spends only 2.2% of its GDP on education. Compare that with Cuba, 12.9%, Bolivia, 7.6%, Vietnam, 6.6%, Jamaica, 6.4%. These are societies which have grown out of this investment in their people's future to have many elements of human life at its idealistic best. And I want to end with a few words from the great Caribbean poet Martin Carter, which I think describes those societies I've just mentioned. I have learnt from books, dear friend, of men dreaming and living and hungering in a room without a light, who could not die since death was far too poor, who did not sleep to dream, but dreamed to change their world. Thanks very much indeed, Victoria. Now our next speaker is Sheila Triggs. Sheila is representing the Women's International League for Peace and Freedom. And as you may know, Wilk won the Nobel Peace Prize in which year, Sheila?
We won 2 Nobel Peace Prize.
Oh, that's 2. Okay. So, Sheila, welcome. Wilk is a strong supporter of ICAN and is very active on this question. Welcome, Sheila. Okay. Hello, everyone. Can you hear me? As Kate said, I'm here today speaking from WILF, the Women's International League for Peace and Freedom. Our 100-year-old membership organization is a vociferous supporter of nuclear abolition. Remember Hiroshima and Nagasaki in 1945? Right back in 1949, we passed a resolution asking the United Nations to secure the prohibition of atomic weapons and the destruction of all existing stock.
prohibit nuclear weapons. It wouldn't have happened without us, and we deserve the Nobel Peace Prize that has been awarded to ICAN, the International Campaign to Abolish Nuclear Weapons, of which our organizations are all engaged members. Whilst at the international level, particularly active through our role.
On here! On here!
Okay. Whilst at the international level has been particularly active through our role as a steering group member of ICAN. Whilst has mobilized across the globe, where we are in all continents and nearly 40 countries. We have been advocates, including with governments. We have developed policy briefs and conducted research, and we have spoken out on media and social media. A strong delegation of well-informed campaigners, including four-wheelers, travelled from Scotland to the negotiations in New York, where history was made on the 7th of July when nuclear weapons were banned.
Sorry about this.
Okay? And although it came as a big surprise, it's absolutely fitting that the work of ICAN is tomorrow being recognized by the award of the Nobel Peace Prize. Thank you to the Nobel Prize Committee, which has got it right this time, this year at last. At the United Nations, 122 governments, the great majority of the United Nations, adopted the new treaty in July. The ban treaty opened for signature on the 20th of September, and already over 50 states have signed it. This treaty bans possessing, testing, using, developing, assisting with nuclear weapons. It also includes provisions for assisting victims of nuclear weapons use and weapons testing and environmental remediation. WILF is particularly proud that this is the first treaty to recognize the disproportionate impact of nuclear weapons on indigenous people and on women. Women have a 50% higher risk of developing and dying of cancer as a result of ionizing radiation. This is an important aspect of nuclear violence that is often overlooked, but is now referenced in the preamble of the new treaty, along with reference to the importance of women's participation in disarmament. The inclusion of these points in the final version of the treaty is significant and the focal point, one of the focal points of WILF's advocacy, to strengthen the language in the text over the course of the negotiations. We pushed for a strong, comprehensive treaty to make a difference in the world. This treaty was conceived as a tool that could help change the politics and economics of nuclear weapons, and it is already having an impact on opinions about nuclear weapons. Something that is banned meets with disapproval. The treaty provides a solid foundation to change policies and practices. As Beatrice Finn, the head of ICAN, says, it gives us a window of opportunity to change attitudes. Setsuko Thurlow, the Hiroshima survivor, who will be jointly receiving the prize tomorrow with Beatrice, said in her closing statement to the negotiating conference on July the 7th, "This is the beginning of the end of nuclear weapons. Civil society in the UK, and that's us. Civil society now has a massive task to make Britain the first nuclear weapons country to sign the ban, to set an example to the world, and to start us all on the road to peace and freedom.
Thanks very much indeed, Sheila. That's fantastic. And now our final speaker before we do our die-in, Dr. Michael Orgel from Medac, Scotland. Welcome, Michael.
Thank you. I'm Michael Orgel. I'm a medical doctor who's a member of Medac Scotland. Medac is the UK affiliate of the International Physicians for the Prevention of Nuclear War, which is the founding organization of ICAN. ICAN has worked tirelessly to highlight the unacceptable medical and humanitarian consequences of any use of nuclear weapons, as well as making nuclear weapons clearly illegal under international law for the first time. The 2017 Nuclear Ban Treaty provides a framework for their total elimination. The scientific evidence has clearly shown that no meaningful medical response to a nuclear detonation is possible. Nuclear weapons are inevitably indiscriminate and disproportionate in their effects. The ionizing radiation produced at detonation kills people from radiation sickness, while radioactive contamination of the environment causes cancers, chronic diseases, birth defects, and genetic damage. ICAN has emphasized the consequences for women, as Wilf has just pointed out, from previous use of nuclear weapons and nuclear testing, and ICAN has also given a prominent voice to the indigenous peoples affected by testing of nuclear weapons. In fact, a limited nuclear war involving less than 0.03% of the world's nuclear weapons could cause a global famine. That would put 2 billion people at risk of starvation by damaging the global climate and food production. The health and international relief communities acknowledged that they could not respond to the terrible devastation caused by nuclear weapons. A large-scale nuclear war would threaten the very survival of humanity. We celebrate the Nobel Peace Prize as a way to highlight to the world the urgency of total elimination of nuclear weapons. We call upon all people in the UK to support divestment from investment in nuclear weapons by joining the Don't Bank on the Bomb campaign. The UK, alongside other nuclear-armed states, boycotted the negotiations despite the government's claims to support multilateral disarmament. They have said they will never sign up to the treaty, despite polling indicating that 75% of the UK population supported the UK government to participate in the negotiations. It's not too late for the position of the British government to change. We call upon the British government to immediately begin the process of joining the treaty. We call upon the UK to cancel plans to replace Triton and instead actively pursue a verifiable agreement among nuclear-armed states to eliminate their nuclear arsenals. The UK government repeats the tired refrain that nuclear weapons are necessary for our security, and the call for elimination is dangerous and unrealistic. However, the government acts if these weapons have some magical quality that keeps them from ever being used and omits any discussion of what such use would do to the world. On more than a half a dozen occasions, we have avoided nuclear war because, as the former Secretary of Defense for President Kennedy after the Cuban Missile Crisis said, quote, "We lucked out. It was luck that prevented nuclear war." This is the greatest threat to public health that's ever existed, and we need to look at it that way, because nuclear war must be prevented at all costs. And the only way to guarantee nuclear weapons are never used is to eliminate them. So, who's living in a fantasy world? Those who understand that we've been living on borrowed time for the last 70 years and need to get rid of nuclear weapons before our luck runs out, or those who think we can continue to maintain thousands of nuclear weapons on hair trigger alert and hope that the wise and thoughtful leaders who control these weapons will make sure that nothing ever goes wrong. Surely we can pause to listen again and reflect on the words of Setsuko Thurlow, a survivor of the 1945 atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, who will be addressing the Peace Prize ceremony in Oslo, who said, "For the health and safety of all the people of the world, it's time to prohibit and eliminate all nuclear weapons."
Thanks very much indeed, Dr. Michael, speaking on behalf of MEDEC. Right, so now this is the opportunity for you all to participate further. We're going to have a short die-in to indicate the impact of nuclear weapons use. So we'd like you to find some suitable place to lie down. If you want to lie down on the MOD steps, that would be very good, in the MOD doorway and on the pavement surrounding. So we'll do that for a few minutes. We don't want to have any
face down.
Problems. So
Okay, guys, thank you so much for joining us. We're at outside the Ministry of Defense. You can see there.
You want to, David, you wanted to do a photo before. Are you going to do this?
Yep. And now it's going to be a brief die-in. It's a very cold stone floor at the moment, so it's going to be a bit cold. In any case, thank you so much for joining us. I think that's the finish of all the speeches. Now will just be just some photos later on. Anyway, guys, thank you so much. If you could please tweet this out, send this to WCND UK, campaign against the arms trade, campaign for nuclear disarmament, NHS not Trident, and yeah, send it to the Green Party as well, of course. And yeah, that's it. Okay, I shall be with you shortly. Thank you so much. Peace out.